Am late, but I am excited to be here, guys. We are going to go back to doing some live action stuff because I miss you guys. I see everybody here faking and perpetrating, giving y'all pre-recorded nonsense information. They copycatted off of somebody else. So I said, you know what? Let's do it live action. Let's be with the people. And so we are live action right now. I'm Dr. Andrew Pinesett. I am the study doc. And tonight I'm answering your questions. So literally anything you guys want to talk about, we can talk about. I have some things that I want to talk about that I think are important and are pressing right now for you guys as pre-meds. But if you have a question, this is going to be the place you're going to start coming. Tuesday nights, we're going to be live action. You can ask me questions and I'll give you answers and I'll teach. And I had planned on being on the whiteboard tonight, but it's not happening because I just finished my MCAT coaching group. We just did 2 hours. We went over our allotted 90-minute time. And so that's why I'm late tonight. So I apologize for that. So we will not be on the whiteboard tonight, but starting next week, we'll be on the whiteboard, taking it back to our roots when we started it back on this channel 7-something years ago, where we were all whiteboard all the time, every day. So every Tuesday we'll be live here on the whiteboard, but this week we're here with the background. And so what do you guys want to talk about? What's on your mind? I'll start with what's on my mind. And it's something that we just talked about in our pre-med coaching group and our MCAT group, is that it's very important for you guys as students to recognize no success, true meaningful success, comes without hard work and effort. Okay. No success comes without that hard work and that effort and us putting that time in to become our greatness. And so when we work hard and we become that success, it's very important that we don't invalidate that success or allow other people to invalidate that success. And the practical example of this is I had a student in coaching tonight who was talking about this, bringing this point up because we were talking about esteem and confidence as a student and trying to become our greatness and the struggles that we all go through, right, to try to become great. And so the student was saying how she's been working really hard. She's been in my programs and worked really hard, and she's been improving, right? She was screwing around for a long time, making mistakes. She's a non-traditional student, but now she wanted to get on track, and now she's gotten on track. She's learned how to study through my course, the 5 Pillars to Success, and Get Better Grades, and now she's getting the A+. And now when she gets those A+, it's actually minimalized and trivialized by the people around her who are saying, oh, it's just, it's easy. You're getting A's and da-da-da. And they downplay the A's and the work it took to get there. How many of experiences where the people are hating on what you're doing and what you're going through, and they try to artificialize your success and say, oh, it's just luck, or, oh, it's just this. You can't allow people to do that. You can't allow your success to be marginalized, trivialized, minimized, artificialized, whatever it might be. Why? Because true success requires hard work, requires dedication, requires sacrifice. The only way we're going to be willing to do those things is if there's some reward on the back end. And the reward, right, that A, we've been so long. How many of you guys would give anything to be the A student, right? You see it in your mind, I want to be an A student. If you become that A student and you put in a lot of work to get there, what's going to make you work hard next semester if there is no reward, if you trivialize, if you minimize the A's you worked hard to accomplish? We can't allow people to tear us down, guys. And one of the biggest perpetrators of tearing us down is ourselves. Y'all. Is us telling, you know what? Oh, it's an A. Oh, I just got lucky. I can't do that again. I don't even know how I did that. Right? And we talk down on ourselves. For what? Remind yourself. Oh, no. I took Dr. P's class. Shoot, it's long. It's hours and hours. I took it though, and I went through it. And after every module, I sat down and I assessed. And I said, listen, this is who I've been. I want to be different. So what does Dr. Pines telling me I need to do? Okay, now that I've made this plan, I now have to execute that plan. And if you're getting the A's, that means you're executing on that plan. So if you've taken the time to learn and then to execute, we got to celebrate that. We can't let that go by the wayside. We have to celebrate the fact that we got the job done and pat ourselves on the back and applaud ourselves. It's one of the reasons people want to say that I'm braggadocious and I'm boastful and I'm cocky and I'm arrogant and all kind of things. And it doesn't faze me in the least. Why? Because I know the work that I've put in to become my greatness. I know what that is. And if you guys see me looking down here, I'm trying to get to there we go. I'm getting to the comments here so I can see what's happening with y'all. I know the work I've put in to become that greatness. And it's me understanding and breaking that down, the fact that I went and learned. I put a plan in place. I stuck to that plan. Because how many of you guys, you learn something new and you try it for a day, a week, and then it goes away? The successful people stick at it. And if you're going to get that A, that means you were consistent. And I applaud you, because so few people are consistent. I tell people, number one key, you'd be an overnight success. Your grades would change innumerably. It would be like immeasurable, the amount of greatness and how great your grades would be if you simply were consistent. It's the number one thing I teach. I said, listen, forget all this high-level reading and notes. I can teach you all that stuff. How to do flash, I teach you all that stuff. But can you be consistent in your studying? Can you study when you're supposed to study? And if you're getting A's, that means you're a consistent student. So you got to recognize that, and you got to break all that down and stack all that up and applaud yourself as, listen, I did all these steps and all these steps and all this hard work and all this saying no to this and yes to this. It got me here to success. And when you're there, guys, appreciate it. Recognize what that is. That way, the next time it's time to gear up for that semester, you can tie the incredible feeling of getting an A, of knowing you're on your pathway to becoming the doctor or the nurse or whatever you want to become. The great feelings you have, you tie it to the low points of when you're really struggling to learn something. When it's late and you're tired, but you know you have more work to be done. When it's finals week and you've been just barely crawling along to get to the finals week, but now you're there in finals week, you got to step up for yourself. Does that make sense to everybody, what I'm saying right now? We can't allow people to marginalize us, trivialize us. And this is what happens. I'm going to give a talk at a couple medical schools. Over the next couple of weeks, I have 3 talks scheduled, and 2 of them are at medical schools. And one of the talks, I'm actually going in and I'm talking to minority medical students. And one of the big problems that minority medical students experience is that, can everybody hear me? Like this video right now, comment right now, before I get into this next part. Well, let me reset the video. I'm Dr. Pinesett. I am the study doc. We are live action right now. This is live. This is me. Hello to you, okay, out there. If you can hear me, if I'm coming through loud and clear, like this video right now, comment, let me know that you guys are here with me. I see your comments. Stuart, Haya, right back at you. Let me know that you guys are with me and that I'm not here. Okay, here. All right, I see it there. Thank you. I appreciate that. Rosanna, we hear you. I'm going to talk to these students, and I'm talking to a group of minority students. And what's interesting, and can we have this conversation? Is everybody okay? Can we stay on here for a little bit today? Can I rap for a little bit? Can we have a conversation? One of the problems when you're a minority in medicine is that you are that minority, right? You are that person who you're one of the few. Is that a nice way to say it? No one looks like you. No one's whatever. And so what happens is there's a complex that's developed when you are the minority in the situation. It's uncomfortable being that minority. You have a complex about it. Why? Because you don't see anybody who looks like you. And that's disconcerting, and that's alarming, and that's it can be isolating. It can make you feel a certain way because here you are trying to be something, trying to be this great doctor. You're in medical school. You've worked so hard to get there, but you feel weird about it because no one looks like you. In your mind, you say, oh, I don't fit in. I'm this, they're that, we're different. And part of that complex that some students develop is they start to see themselves through the eyes of other people. And when you're a minority, one of the things that you learn throughout your career, because people say it in subtle ways, more overt ways, different ways, but people will say it to you, is that people will make you feel like an affirmative action case. Oh, you're just here because you're black. Oh, you got in because you're black. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, you're not smart, you're black, blah, 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 all this stuff. And so you develop these complexes around like, oh, if that's how people see me, that must be the case. I don't belong here. I'm unqualified to be here. I shouldn't be here. I'm less than. And you start to see yourself as the affirmative action kid. And you start to perform at what? An affirmative action kid level. Like you are unqualified. You're all befuddled. You're not performing at your highest potential. You're right. You're embodying the stereotype. You're embodying the negative impression that other people have of you. And what I encourage all of you guys to recognize, we talk about this, right? Like, of not letting ourselves down, is if you guys are a student who is a minority, and you do come from a background that isn't the traditional rich person going into medicine, it is going to be a lonely journey for you at points. It is going to feel like you were the only one, because in most cases you are the only one. And this is one of the reasons I push back, and you guys, I have a video about that, right? HBCUs. I push back on the whole, we should go to HBCUs so we can feel comfortable, so we can feel like we're part of a community and so forth. I push back against that because I say the world is not predominantly black. The world is not predominantly any minority. That's why we're the minority. So what good is it if I feel comfortable in that environment, but then I have to leave that environment and go out into the world and deal with the real world proportions and the real world dynamics? Wouldn't it be better to deal with those real world dynamics in a protected environment like academia, as opposed to be higher on in my career and having to deal with it for the first time in a professional setting where there is no protections, where there is no, black student union, as was at my campus in undergrad. There is no NBME, right? The National Society of Black Engineers. There is no MAPS, Minority Associated Pre-Medical Students. There is no black cohort for you. There is no place to go and get that support, right? Ghazi just said, I'm Turkish immigrant woman, 41, right? That makes you a minority in the medical field. And so it can feel like you're the black swan amongst all the white swans. And so it's so important that you guys don't embody that and you do the opposite. You say to yourself, I'm not going to shudder. I'm not going to cower down. I'm not going to be isolated. Instead, I'm going to lean in. You gosh darn right, I am the black swan. You are not like me. And in fact, I am better than thee. Show them, because you are their experience with the minority. Show them the power that is in you. Show them the capability, the quality that you have as a person, and change the narrative, change the perception. I see this all the time, people don't change the narrative, change the narrative. You can't change the narrative by shouting, hey, change the criteria to let us in. The way you change a narrative is by changing the story, changing their perception by being and acting and exceeding what their expectations are of you. You step up, not back. Does everybody see what I'm saying right now? You got to step up. Stuart said, I'm a yellow duck, right? Whatever your duckling status is, y'all. We got to step up into our greatness and not allow others, as I said, we'll bring it all full circle, right? We can't allow people to trivialize what we're going through, what we've been through, where we are, who we are. You are great. We all have greatness inside of us. We all have great potential. But a lot of us cower down. Actually, we can talk about this, right? Can we talk about this? Can we talk about relationships? I love relationships. I have a friend. She's my wife's friend. And she's a very successful woman in her career, in her industry. She's very successful. And she's constantly dating these guys. And she says that, man, I can't stay with a guy because I always feel like I have to be less than myself because they're intimidated by how powerful I am in my career. And I'm like, it is a tough situation. Like, imagine having to feel like you have to shrink to something. But then I'm like, oh, I experienced that. I know exactly what that is. Where people expect less than you and they're shocked. They're outraged when you exceed their expectations. They act indignant. Like, how can you be doing this well? And I can remember that feeling. I was at Stanford Medical School. And I'm at Stanford Medical School and I'm performing well. And Stanford's a great place. Very accepting, whatever. But it is what it is. It ain't what it ain't, right? You're a minority everywhere you go, regardless of how accepting a place is. And people were looking at me, and I could tell, the look. And people were acting real weird and real funny and real shady about it, like some of my classmates. Because, all of a sudden the black kid is getting these grades and we thought he wasn't a threat. Turns out he's a threat. He got some stuff going on. And it was okay. I didn't need that extra support because that was my own support. And so I encourage all you guys out there, this is the message that I'm trying to get out right here, right now, is that I want you guys to know that you guys all are powerful. You guys are all incredible, and that you don't have to fit in anybody's box. You're your own box. You're your own person. And if you work hard and you commit yourself and you do the things and you do what's required to get the A's, be very proud of it. And don't let anybody shame you and minimize your accomplishment. And if you manage to get into medical school as a student of color, recognize you buck the trend. You beat the odds. Don't shrink to meet their expectation. Step up to meet your own expectation of yourself. Define yourself. That's the truth. They thought I wasn't a threat until I was, and it was too late. It's like that Drake album. Much love back to you, Brent from Ohio. It's like, who's seen that? What's that Drake album? I forget which album it is. But the album, Just Joking. The album is called If You're Reading This, It's Too Late. I was going to say, is that lyric? No, it's the album is called that. If you're reading this, it's too late. They thought I wasn't a threat, and by the time they recognized I was a threat, it was too late. If you're reading this, it's too late. I've already dominated all of the med school classes, and you cannot catch me, because now I'm running. I got momentum. I'm going downhill. Okay. So again, I'll reset. I'm Dr. Pinesett. Every Tuesday, guys, we're going to get back at this every single week, every single Tuesday. Every single Tuesday, I have coaching internally with my Premed group, Total Premed Transformation. I work with my students, my MCAT course, my studies course, depending on the week. Every Tuesday night, I have coaching. Immediately following that session, I'm going to hop on here on YouTube. We're on Facebook right now. We're on YouTube and Facebook, dual live action. And I'm going to coach because I enjoy working with students. So I'm going to answer your guys' questions. So if you guys have questions, if you're on here, you spent the time, right? It's your evening. If you're on the East Coast, it's already after 8 o'clock. Put a comment in the box. Mojid says, how do minorities get through medical school debt? And I think, Mojid, your real question is how do any student get through medical school debt, let alone students who are financially disadvantaged? That's a better question. Okay. And a lot of times we miss and we confound minority status with underserved status. Right? Like you can be a minority and not be from an impoverished background. You can be from an impoverished background and not be a minority. But the data shows that if you are a minority, you are more than likely to be more poor than your non-minority counterparts. How do students who are financially disadvantaged, how do they pay for medical school? How do they handle it? How do they get through that? You take out loans. And I'll say this about med school loans because a lot of people, they make med school loans out to be the Sam Smith, the devil, right? Who saw Sam Smith's Grammy performance? I didn't see it. I turned that off. I don't like to get too close to that mix up. I'm a Christian. I follow the Lord Jesus Christ. So I don't like, that's a little too much for me. I would not do that. But my point is this, is that sometimes people make loans out to be the devil. Okay. Taking out loans are not the devil. Taking out loans to buy stuff you don't need is the devil. That's the devil. And a lot of students miss the two. And that as we're coming up as young people, you spend money on dumb stuff. And I've been there, right? I was an undergrad and I was making really good money, like coming from, not the wealthiest background, going into college and then finding my way, starting a tutoring company and making good money and having a scholarship here and being part of a program here. I had a good amount of money in college. I was able to get my dollars together. And so because of that, I would spend on stupid stuff. And now I look back on like, man, I should have been putting that money. You watch those videos of compound interest. I'm like, man, I should have been putting that money away. I'd have some major cash right now instead of spending it on stupid stuff. And so for you guys as students, medical student loans are the same way. Medical school is expensive. Hundreds of thousands of dollars you're going to owe. It's nothing. It's nothing if it allows you to get through your journey. If you're an undergrad student, don't be ashamed or afraid to take out loans to get your degree. Don't take out loans so you can, exactly right. Long race with my students, he knows where I spend my money. Shh, don't put that in the box. They don't know that. Right? But don't be afraid to take out loans. You need to be in a comfortable position to be able to focus on school. Because some people are in such a hurry not to take out loans that they allow that to impede their ability to perform in the classroom, and then it's all for naught. Because now, even if it's a small amount of loans, but I didn't get into medical school, what does it matter? I'd rather have taken out a bigger set of loans, that way I can go to medical school so I can boost my earning potential. And if you talk about going to medical school and taking out those loans, in medical school, the caps for what you can take out for loans goes way up because the tuition costs go way up. So you can take out way more money in medical school. And when you take those loans out, it seems like a big deal, like $100,000. It is. But you're going to be making so much more every year and over your career as a physician than you would otherwise, that it becomes essentially a trade-off. I'm trading you a couple $100,000 now to boost my net earning income by $100,000 every year for the rest of my life. It'll take a long time to pay all those loans off with high interest, but you'll get there. So how does students pay for medical school? They pay for it with loans. And if you're smart, this is like a little bonus point here, if you're smart about it, the time to actually apply for a lot of scholarships and grants is actually in undergrad. Why? Because there's a bigger pool of scholarships that are different buckets, different specialties, different whatever, right? I'm the only one scholarship finding method where for my students, I don't say look for the big scholarship that everyone's applying to. I say find the niche, the small scholarships that only you qualify for, right? I'm the only one that qualifies for the scholarship, and that will improve your competitiveness. But the time to go for scholarships is actually in undergrad, not in medical school. Why? Because there's less money for medical school loans, for scholarships, because people assume you're going to come out as a doctor, you'll have a high earning potential. But in undergrad, there's plenty of money available at that point. So that's when you save. You get scholarships and grants, and you're in different programs that give you stipends. So that way you can offset the cost of your undergrad. So that way you can take out a little bit more in medical school and not be so deep in debt. Where people get in trouble is they take a bunch of loans for undergrad and then a bunch of loans for medical school, and then it gets really, really high. So think about that, guys. Additionally, as you're going through medical school, you're not going to have money to pay those loans down, so you're accruing all that interest. So if you can be smart about scholarships, grants, different programs you're in undergrad, it's going to save you a ton of headache going through your journey into medical school. And yeah, some medical schools have scholarships, but they're a lot fewer. But then also the competition for scholarships is higher because everyone that's there got into medical school. So they all have stellar resumes and GPAs and so forth. So wouldn't it be better to compete against the lowly undergrad people? I think so. Yeah, I like that, Spencer. Spencer says, I could be in debt to the day I die and only have a modest salary and it'd still be worth it. I want to be a doctor so I can have purpose for what I do with my life. Money sits when you're dead. That's 100% true. I mean, what's all the money worth? I mean, my wife would laugh if she was here because I'm constantly, I go someplace, I'm like, ooh, man, you couldn't pay me enough money to do that job. I love what I do as an anesthesiologist. I love it. Like every day I'm excited to go. Like it's not always easy. It's not always like stress-free. Like there's stresses and all stuff, but I love my job. It's exciting. It's fast paced. It's hands-on. It's complex. I get to, work with the kids. It's all these cool things. But there are certain things that aren't worth the money. If you're not living a purpose, if you can't enjoy what you're doing every day, at some point there's not enough money to do that, to be unhappy, to be unfulfilled, to not feel like you're doing something for a purpose. And it's like this when I get on here and I talk for all this time. I'm like, oh my gosh, why are you always on the internet? Like I enjoy working with students. It's not a chore for me. It's my purpose. I feel like a purpose-driven life. I feel like I'm living my purpose when I'm helping students, serving students. I get energy from this. I feel good about this, right? I'm almost at 3 hours straight of talking to students, right? Because we had the 2 hours of MCAT coaching, and we come up on here, we're on 30 minutes right now. But it's because I enjoy doing this. I'm fulfilled by it. And so anything that you have purpose in, it's way, way better. Way more better. Just Sean, what up? Yeah, don't take out loans for the BMW. That's not what you want to do. All right, any other questions or can we end? We're at 23 minutes. Questions. Okay. If not, guys, we're going to be back every single Tuesday. Check for the link, guys. Make sure you guys, if you haven't already, like this video, take a second and comment. If you are new here, if I haven't seen you before, welcome, subscribe. Like I said, turn on live notifications, toggle that little bell, because I'm going to be on here live all the time, bringing you guys great stuff every single week. So thank you guys for being here. I'll see you guys next time. Later. That's it for another episode of the Study Doc Show. Show your love by smashing the like button and commenting in the box below. Today is the day, guys. No more excuses, no more complaining. You're going to take your future into your own hands. You're going to dominate. You're going to be successful. I challenge you. What are you going to do today to make your life better? Get to my website, thestudydoc.com. Grab a free ebook. Sign up for a free webinar. And if you're really ready to transform, enroll in one of my life-changing courses or coaching programs. You have greatness inside you. Let me show you how to unlock it so you can dominate and make your dreams a reality.